I love this question. So, welcome back. We're going to talk about houses today. So, the way that I view zodiac houses is that they are classrooms or subjects that we enter into to learn a certain type of lesson. Let me explain. So, I take this as the sign that is governing a house describes how the lesson is being taught. And that may be 2 different or 3 different signs depending on the house cusps. The house subject is describing what you're getting taught. And the planets that you have in those houses are the tools that you selected on a soul level to deepen or accelerate or complicate the mastery of that subject. Each planet will bring support and or challenge depending on your readiness to accept that that is the key that unlocks that extra sense of understanding for you. Your first house is going to be how to exist, where we learn our consciousness, how to enter form, how to occupy our body, and experience life as a being. Your second house is your worth or your self-sustenance. It's your subject of value and security and self-trust. So we're learning how to be valuable enough to be kept and to be here. Your third house is your language and your expression. How do we communicate? How do we develop our thought and speech? How do we translate our inner experience into something that's shareable and understandable? Your fourth house is going to be the subject of home and emotional security, learning where you come from, what feels like home, your lineage, your ancestry, your emotional inheritance. Your fifth house is your self-expression, your growth, your pleasure, your creative vitality, and the exploration of how to generate force as a person to allow being seen. Your sixth house is going to be your service and somatic integrity. So your devotion, your ethics, your living system, learning how to live in the right relationship within your body, your work, and your systems of care, including surrendering to the process. And I divide them by the first 6 being about you, all encompassing, and then the IC line, which divides the 1 through 6 from the 7 through 12, as when I become a me, then I can become a we. We can become part of something more. Okay, your 7th house is your relational awareness. So seeing yourself through others, the study of partnership, reflection, balance, learning how you become a person in relation to somebody else. Your 8th house is going to be transformation and social contracts. So shared power, death, renewal, intimacy, loss, inheritance, how to transform through shared experiences and irreversible change. The 9th house is higher learning and exploration. It's like communication 201, the expansion of your worldview through study, expansion of spirituality, teaching, learning how to synthesize experience from wisdom and transmit it to others. Your 10th house is going to be destiny and rites of passage, your fulfillment of responsibility to the lineage and the ancestry that you created in your 4th house, but how you become a visible offering to more than just you. The 11th house is like innovation. It's your collective creativity and your collaboration with others. So your activation of those gifts and what you learned in creative play in your 5th house, but on a bigger, broader scale. And the 12th house is your transcendence and collective healing. So it's your dissertation. It's your dissolution of when I became me, and then we got to the we part. How do I become a fully encompassed being before I do this again? So your release of ego boundaries, your service to the unseen, your healing on a collective level, and giving back. Now, the teaching style is going to heavily come from what signs those are in. So if you have your first house, which is your existence, being taught through the lens of Sagittarius, or even Sagittarius and Capricorn, maybe most of that class is taught through, we are going to expand. We are going to learn how to be okay with being seen, being here, being more than just us. And then also, how do we move this into a structure form? How do we move this into what you're going to do with your life, your career? And I say that very loosely because it could come and manifest in different ways, because maybe you also have Mercury in your first house, which means that you need to speak. You need to express the fact that, oh my gosh, I want to learn this. I want to be in all these different places. I want to travel. I want to build something and then give it away. The emphasis that you put in your soul incarnation, in your blueprint when you chose to be here, is going to show up in your chart. And that's the part about astrology that I love so much. And I hope that that was a little bit more help, because I love Placidus reading, and it does show more of how you aren't just a first house Pisces or a first house Virgo. Like, depending on where that first house actually begins and where it ends can tell you how many different teachers you have to help you understand who you are. There was a secondary question, and I don't know that it was you or somebody else who had mentioned it, but transits. When there is a transit going on that comes over your natal chart, right? Because our planets are moving, and this is our blueprint, this is our screenshot, our class itinerary. The transits are like substitute teachers, or our pop quizzes, or are like, hey, we got something new to learn about this same thing, and this is the lens that we learned it through, but this is another version of that being taught for everybody in the whole damn school, Earth School. If you want a little bit more information on your specific chart, pop it in the comments, and I will do my best to give you a little bit more understanding on it. Have a wonderful day.